Hello everyone, today we'll be going over Entry Certificate in Business Analysis exam, also known as ECBA. We'll be discussing what it is, how to prepare for it, sample questions and tips that will help you pass the examination on the first try. Let's begin. Before we get started, keep in mind that you must be a student or understand the concept of it prior to taking this exam. If you are not familiar with the concept, it's highly advised to take training courses that gets you ready for the certification. We provide those classes along with complete guidance. Check out our website to know more. Link will be in the description below. As well as, check out our last 2 videos that we made for business analysis, that'll give you the basic understanding of it. Let's first understand what is ECBA. It's an entry certification for business analyst, which is offered by International Institute of Business Analysis, also known as IBA. This certification focuses on professionals that are wanting to start their career as a business analyst or individuals that are studying to get into this career path. Now we'll look at the requirements needed in order to take the ECBA exam. Do understand that there is no specific experience criteria required to be eligible for the ECBA certification. What they do require is 21 hours of professional development, which includes attending a training program by an endorsed education provider, which would be us here, at IT Expert Systems. The ECBA exam is based on the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge book, also known as BABOK. In order to get this book, you'll first need to apply for the ECBA exam. That's how IBA will give you the access for BABOK. Using this book you can prepare for the exam along with the training courses, as we mentioned before. BABOK contains multiple chapters and every chapter in the book has a defined percentage in terms of the number of questions in the exam. As shown here, some of the chapters have a high percentage and some are low percentage. This will help you plan out your preparation. Here's some information on the exam. The ECBA exam's format is multiple choice. The time duration to finish the exam is 1 hour and there are 50 total questions. A plus point for this exam is that there's no negative marking whatsoever. From the feedback we received from our students, it appears that an hour is sufficient to finish the exam and review your answers at the end. This exam can also be taken remotely. Many of our students prefer that since they like the comfort of taking it from their home. Now, we'll discuss what to expect when taking the ECBA exam. The questions on the exam are not based on memorization. There's no need to memorize any definitions or any key terms in such content. More importantly, the exam is based on understanding of concept. Meaning when you are studying BABOK, you need to understand the concept because the purpose behind this exam isn't to test your knowledge on the BABOK definitions and key terms, it is to test if you have fully grasped the understanding of the concept that you'll learn from the book and your training courses. Thus, they include synonyms of the frequently used key terms mentioned in BABOK. The exam primarily focuses on how business analysis activities takes place. Given that the individuals taking this exam are not experienced in real field, there won't be any questions based on experience. We'll go through some sample questions here. Give yourself a moment and analyze this question. Mentally pick out the answer you think is correct. If you chose option D, you're correct. This sample question reflects the actual exam. From this you can figure out what we mentioned before, that this exam will only test you on the understanding of business analysis concept. Similarly, let's look at another sample. What do you think is the correct answer here? The correct answer is B. Let's check out the next one here. Try to answer this question here. Option A is the correct answer for this question. Now, we'll be reviewing a few key exam topics together. Let's begin with SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Remember that SWOT is a key part of any business and strategic plan. Divided into 2 factors, strengths and weaknesses are internal factors and opportunities and threats are external factors. It analyzes a project or a business venture by focusing on each of these factors. SWOT analysis is very useful when determining whether you want to embark on certain venture or strategy. By visualizing the pros and cons and clearly outlining the positives and negatives of a project, it makes it easier to decide how to move forward. Just to give you an example, first you would want to figure out how to build on the strengths of your organization. It helps you identify the parts of your business that are doing well. These are your critical success factors, aspects of your business that are strong and give you a competitive advantage. Recognizing these assets will help you continue on at a high level, and you will need to find ways to leverage and build upon these strengths to grow your business. So that's a little refresher for SWOT analysis. Next we'll go through BPMN. We encourage you to watch the full video that we made on BPMN. Link will be in the description. BPMN stands for Business Process Model and Notation. It represents over 500 pages of standardized specification, whose primary goal is to provide the notation that's readily understandable by all business user. It basically creates a language that's readable and understandable by everyone involved in a project, from stakeholders to the IT team. It's all made possible through the various visual elements, as you can see some of them here. They're used to represent presences of different types of business and process diagrams. For example, BPMN process diagrams. They all serve a different purpose in business process management life cycle, like process analysis, process improvement, process-based communication and requirement specification. There's much more to BPMN that we covered in the specific video for it. So please make sure you check that out, if you haven't already. Next thing we'll briefly go over is UML, Use Case Diagram and Scenario. We have also created a video specific to UML diagrams and scenarios which shows you step by step their creation process. Link will be down in the description. A use case diagram is a behavior model. It consists out of one or more use cases. Use case diagram captures the functionality of a system from a user's standpoint. It represents the smallest unit of a functionality and it's typically a single functionality as seen by the users. It's a must that you understand the symbols that use case diagrams use, and what those symbols represent, as shown here. A use case scenario is a single path through the use case. It's needed because use case diagrams does not contain enough information to accurately describe what each feature of a system does. Every use case diagram is accompanied by a use case scenario. Use case scenarios are based on use case diagrams. It describes the interaction between the user and the system. A use case scenario template must contain actors, a system, final outcome, and a goal or successful outcome. As you can see, this is what a use case scenario looks like. Now let's go over requirements gathering or elicitation. If you haven't already, do check out the full detailed video we did for this topic. Link will be in the description. Requirements gathering, also known as requirements elicitation, is the first and basic phase of any project. They give clear, concise and agreed set of customer or client requirements that the project should provide. Business analysts are mainly responsible for a requirement gathering process. Here's a list of requirements gathering techniques, starting with interviews. It's used to acquire revealing information by asking focus questions to clients. Next is focus groups. This is where the BA draws out information from a selected group. The BA becomes the facilitator between the selected group of people for all discussions. Then we'll look at document analysis. It refers to gathering information from existing documents. It's helpful when the SMEs are not available. Next is observation, also known as job shadowing. This is when the BA is allowed to study their stakeholders as they complete their day-to-day tasks and face challenges. Next we'll look at brainstorming. It is a group activity where the team works together to find a solution of a specific or generic challenge. It also helps with developing new ideas. Next is interface analysis. It's used for a BA to understand the inputs and outputs of a system. BA has to analyze and deconstruct the user and the application. Next is prototype. Pretty self-explanatory. It is a demo model of the actual application or software, made by the BA to present it to the stakeholders, so they can understand the vision, especially if they aren't so technical. Now we'll look at workshops or requirement workshops. It is pretty similar to brainstorming sessions, but here the stakeholders are also gathered in these sessions, as well as a scribe who records all input. Then it is survey. It's a quick way to gather data from a large group. The BA creates a list of questions, and sends it to the appropriate stakeholders for their response. Next is process modeling, which is creating a process flow of the system using diagram. The process flow could be for both the current and future states, that can be used at any stage of a project to visualize and document the system's artifacts. Last but not least is benchmarking. It refers to comparing the current option with internal or external competitors, to try and learn from it or observe what they're doing good, and implicate it to be better. Now, here are some additional materials that we highly suggest our students to do a quick review on before taking the exam, starting with the Gantt chart. Similarly, review the milestones, timeline, and planning. The last thing we're going to go over here is the steps to success that has helped many of our students clear the ECBA examination. The first step is, obtain the BPMN book soon as you can, preferably before you start your training courses so that you're able to get a good grasp on the subject from the beginning. Step number 2 is, reading through BPMN. As you're going through your training courses, along the side start reading and getting familiarized with BPMN, as you'll need to read it a few times. The information will be much easier to understand and remember. Step 3, as you start going through BPMN, Make sure that you're focusing on the weightages of the chapters, follow the guide that we had discussed before and prioritize the chapters with high percentage of content. Step number 4 is, as you're going through the chapters in BABAC along with your training courses, take a few practice quizzes. Here at IT Expert System we have created many practice tests and quizzes similar to the actual ECBA exam. By doing that you'll feel much comfortable when you're ready for the actual exam. Next step is, target 75% as your goal when taking practice tests for each specific chapter. We've observed that our students who make that number their goal, more often pass the actual exam with a 75 to 80% score. Step number 6, start taking full-length practice tests once you start getting at least 70% on chapter-specific tests. This is a good way of keeping track as to which portions you're comfortable with and which ones you may need more time to prepare for. Step 7, as you take the full-length practice tests a few times over and start hitting your target score, you'll definitely start feeling confident about the actual exam. That would be the perfect time to go ahead and book your actual ECBA exam through PSI services. It's important to book your exam at least 2 or 3 weeks before, as you don't always get the date and time within a week. It usually takes longer depending on your region, but advance booking is important here. By following these steps you should pass the ECBA exam on the first try, if not then definitely the second. We highly encourage you to start taking our training courses for business analysis, as we provide a complete guidance until you get certified and land a suitable position as a BA. Our classes are online and in person, so no matter where you're watching from, we got you covered. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave us a like, share with people who may benefit from it, as well as comment below what other topics you'd like us to cover, and please do subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on our latest videos. We offer training, staffing and services. Contact us at 847-350-9034 to receive a free career consulting session. See you soon.